YouTube, what's going on? This preacher. I just parked at there. I just parked Karen. Where I stay at, I have a Publix Plaza, and they let me park behind the building here at the Publix Plaza when I get to the house and stuff like that. So now I'm walking to get my food. They got a little Chinese restaurant here, so I'm walking to get my food. But I want to talk about something real quick because I got a couple of friends that's doing a lease purchase, right? And it's almost like they had the same question and asking me, will a lease purchase really work in this market on how it is right now? And I told them, well, if you know how to add, subtract, multiply, and keep good records, then yes, it will. But then you also got to ask yourself, well, how much money is you trying to make per week? Because most lease purchases pay weekly, right? So I asked them, well, how much money are you trying to make per week? That's why I say, if you know how to add, subtract, multiply, then you would know if a lease purchase will work for you or not in this market, right? And then I told them, like most people who have a lot of experience, try to tell younger people in the game, you have to know how much money you need to make a week to survive. Plus, you need to know how much money coming out a week for your truck. See, people be so focused on the truck payment and they forget about all the other deductions that comes along with that too. So a company would be like, yeah, okay, it's be like $700 a week truck payment. So now they're looking at that $700 a week truck payment and like, oh, I probably could do that, yeah. But then all of a sudden, when they get their settlement, they send all these deductions and charges and everything, and that $700, well, that $700 then turn into like $1,900 with everything that they got, right? And one of the first questions that I asked when I signed on with this company, well, how much is your deductions? I need to know the total cost of deductions. They tell me, I said, no, how much is all the deductions, everything? What is it? And like they told me, it come up to $1,536. That includes my truck payment. That includes a full maintenance on the truck and trailer. That also includes the trailer rental for the week. Everything that I pay for all your licenses, if the taxes, everything comes up to $1,536 a week. So now, I knew with $1,536, now we just talking about fuel, right? So if you one of those ones that happy that you don't have a governed truck and you just want to drive 74, 73, 75 miles an hour all the time because you can drive fast now, well, you're also burning through a lot more fuel. So now you got to understand, do you have enough discipline to have some fuel management? Because if you know you is only giving out $1,536 for everything, your only cost after that will be tolls. Don't go on no toll roads. Just that simple. You don't pay tolls. No toll roads, you don't have no tolls to pay, right? Okay. So now we just talking about fuel. Now, how fast are you going? Now, if you gonna go at the fastest you're gonna go is 68. Okay, and a lot of times just 65 to 68. Well, because you're looking at the cost of fuel, well, if you keep your cost of fuel down to say $2,000, right? Now I know what some people say, yeah, but some of these companies you don't get fuel discounts. Then I tell people, get your own fuel cards. you get fuel discounts. So now you go from paying like 18, 19, $2,000 a week down to like 14, $1,500 a week, just by you getting your own fuel cards and not using your lease company fuel cards. Because now when you use your lease company fuel cards, now they getting the discounts, you don't get the discounts, and you paying pump price. But even if you're gonna pay the pump price, say okay, say you do $2,000 a week in fuel. Now you in total $3,500. Well, 35, 36 for me, right? So I knew that, okay, that alone. So now, okay, we're not making the $8,000 a week, 8,500 that we used to make, right? Because of the prices that is out here, right? Like this week, for instance, okay, I made $69.19. That's how much I made, $69.19 this week. Now, take out the 35.36 out of that $69.19 that I made. So that's how much money is mine. I average between $6,500 and $7,200 a week in this market. And you got to do your homework. That's the other thing. Okay, you got to do your homework. You can't go to every single place. Just because a load is paying good going to this one place, yeah, but how loads are paying coming out of that place? Then how long you gonna hold on to that load as well? Okay, now out of that $69.19 that I made, I drove a little bit over 2,800 miles. Is what I drove total for the week. Now, did I have to do some overnight driving? Yes, I did have to do some overnight driving. I sure did, most certainly did. I had to drive at times I didn't want to drive. It just how it was. Driving certain areas through certain cities I didn't want to drive through. But that's where the money was taking me. So sometimes you have to put all this into play before you think about, do I want to lease a truck? You got to know numbers. Okay, you have to know numbers. And then me, I picked the company where I book my own loads. Do I have a dispatcher? Yes, I have a dispatcher. Sometimes my dispatcher find me loads, but hey, I just was looking on there. I know you in this area. I found this load going here. But he know the type of loads that I book, the areas that I go, the type of loads I like to run. I don't like to take loads over 36,000 pounds. Why? Because of fuel. That's why. So it's certain stuff that you have to know getting inside this business. Every lease company is not a bad lease company. It's just the company that you picked was a bad company. There are some good ones out there. Every Chicago-based company is not a bad company. It's just the company you picked. You know, and then people say, well, that was a mistake. No, that was a choice. You have mistakes and you have choices. Those are the only two you have, right? A mistake means that you didn't intentionally mean to do something. A choice means you decided to do this. So you can't be like the company that you picked, it was a mistake. No, you intentionally picked them. Did you do the research that you needed to do on them? And I ain't talking about some YouTube, some YouTube university stuff. I mean, did you really do some Google stuff? Google reviews. Listen at the Google reviews. And see, that's the other thing, these Google reviews. All right, every driver that signed the lease onto a company and blamed the company, it wasn't the company's fault. Say I was a chef for 19 years. I trained thousands of people, hired thousands of people, had to manage thousands of people throughout my time. Okay, it is not always the company's fault. You got good workers and you got bad workers. Then they come inside a trucker, but guess what? They still are bad workers, right? Some of y'all, before y'all got inside a trucker, y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. At your job, you had some sorry workers, and you had some good workers, right? Was it the company's fault that this person then got fired, or this company ain't making the kind of money or getting the hours that they want? No. But the bad workers want the same treatment that the good workers is getting, that's putting in the work, that's working hard. They want that same treatment, the same hours, the same pay, but it don't work that way. Y'all know everybody didn't get paid the same thing at a job. Some people got paid more than others, right? And normally that's people who work hard. Then you got the other people that is nobody else's fault. It's never their fault, but it's everybody else's fault, I meant to say. It's always the other company's fault, right? It's always their fault. They did this. They messed my money up. They did this. Nobody is ever talking about the man in the mirror. So if you ask me, can you make it inside the leasing game? Yes, you can. Just take your time and do the work. But a lot of people don't want to take their time. Then this is another thing. Okay, this is gonna kill some of y'all. I know this video will get long. I'm about to go ahead and get my food right there. See, I'm finna get ready to get my food. Let me just say this. This always be the kicker, right? This is always the kicker in it. Everybody signing these leases and doing these walkaway leases, going to these companies, and they don't got no money in their pocket. But you get in a lease truck and you don't have no money in your pocket. You don't have money for cover your cost of your own repairs. You don't got money to cover tires. You don't have no money sitting inside your pocket at all. And you signing these leases because there's no money down. But you come into these companies with no money at all. This is a business that you run. So you starting a business with no money. Like I said, sometimes you got to think about the person in the mirror first before you start talking about these companies. Because if you have some money, they got prepaid fuel cards out here that's giving you 45 cents off the cost of the gallon, 50 something cents, 30 something cents, and it's prepaid. So that means you got to put money on that card to be able to use that card, right? So, but how many of y'all got $2,000, $2,500 to put on a prepaid card? Not many. So now you crying because you're not getting no discounts. Fuel is just too high. Right, because we starting businesses with no money and expecting that we finna make all kinds of money now. Look at the person in the mirror, man. That's all I'm saying. So can a lease purchase work? Yes, a lease purchase can work. Do your research and make sure that the lease purchase worked for you. There are people who completed successful leases. They have. So why can they do it, but you can't? If I'm always the firm believer, hey, I'm never gonna say I can't do nothing. Okay? Never gonna say that. Word of God said we are more than conquerors. So you can conquer anything if you put your mind to it. That's it. And sometimes you gotta ask for guidance. Get a mentor, get a coach. There's plenty of them out here and they help you out. They help you make that right decision. Have them look over the lease. Take your time with it. No, we want to do things so fast and you don't want to take your time. And doing things fast is causing you bad decisions. That's what happens. Okay, so can a lease purchase work out here? Yes, it can. But you have to do your research and make sure that particular lease purchase works for you. Because what works for one person may not work for you. Do the numbers. Ask the questions. Because I know at $3,500 a week, if I'm doing 65, that means that's $3,000 in my pocket, right? Just doing the simple math. Then everything over the $3,500 that I am getting cost me for the week is less money out my pocket. So now if my fuel is going up past $2,000, and if you keeping track of your fuel and you throughout the course of the week, I write down exactly how much I spent in fuel and death. So at the end of the week, I can start, hey, okay, maybe I got to go down to like about 64, 63. Because I know I'm going over that $3,500 threshold. I already know that. See what I'm saying? Look at the person in the mirror, y'all.